Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, voice girl, and welcome once again to another edition of the Man Space Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, is a man who needs no introduction. So here he is.
I see UFOs.
Okay.
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on, Big Les? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Infatuated by all these unidentified flying object stories on social media. So I've been deep diving. I've been in a rabbit hole. Let's just say that much.
Okay. So since you're in a rabbit hole, and I'm going to go this direction, you're following the conspiracy theory. Do you believe that they're out there?
I believe that there are others. Why would we be the only people? Humans, or I believe that there are others. Yes.
Okay. I'm with you on that one. I do believe that there is something out there. I don't think there's something like little green men, but I do believe that there's
absolutely.
There's the capability for life out there somewhere.
Absolutely. It's just not right around the corner.
Right. Yeah. But since you're into conspiracy theories, where are you on the conspiracy theory that there are two Diddies? That the one that's in jail is not the real guy.
It's not the real guy?
Have you seen this conspiracy?
I have. I don't believe it.
There is a picture that's floating around of his mugshot. And the mole, he has a mole on his cheek.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And the mole is not there on his cheek.
It's Photoshop.
People are saying, that's what I say. It's Photoshop. But
Photoshopped
or
he had the mole removed.
I don't think he had it removed. I mean, he's had the money to
he's had it for many years.
Yeah. He could remove that.
It was just probably photoshopped by an editor that didn't know no better, and that was a stock photo or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe it's two of them.
But so I went down this rabbit hole a little bit, and I started doing my digging.
Yeah.
And there's supposedly that his private jet has been flying around. His private jet made a stop in Hawaii. His private jet made a stop, I believe, in Switzerland. And there's a photo of somebody who is a little bit heavier set that they believe is Diddy. You couldn't see his face. His head is turned.
Yeah.
Getting off the jet,
it's just that speculation. Everybody wants. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say, I'll just say this: if they don't have the right one, the shenanigans are going to continue.
You had R. Kelly to try to say that it was his twin brother and it wasn't him, and all of that.
That's true. I'm not a super fan of R. Kelly, so I don't even know if he has a true twin brother.
That's what he tried to say.
That's what he tried to say? Well, I never heard of him, and I like R. Kelly's music. It is what it is.
Okay. I'm going to take us out of the rabbit hole for a minute. But since we're on the subject of rabbits, I've had some issues with animals over the years. Since we've been doing this show, I've had a lot of run-ins, between deer, between snakes, between foxes. I've had some run-ins. So my wife and I are, finishing an event, and we're closing up and cleaning up everything. And so I got all the trash, and I'm got it on a cart, and I'm rolling it outside to the dumpster right before we close up. It's just me and my wife there. Everybody else is gone. So I'm going out to the dumpster.
Yeah.
Pitch black out there. 3 cats jump out of the dumpster.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, okay. And so I keep rolling toward it, and then a raccoon pops up.
I knew it. I knew it.
And this is like the old West. Like, me and the thing are locking eyes. Like, okay, who's gonna move first? Now I have a foot that's already going backwards, right? I'm ready to go the other way. And I'm like, this cart is about to get pushed full if he come out and come this way. It's coming at him. right?
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
because all I'm thinking is rabies. I'm like, I'm
yeah.
not playing around with this thing, right? I'm not about to get 90 shots in my leg trying to get rid of rabies. It's not gonna happen.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
Fortunately, it jumped out and ran off into the woods, right?
oh man.
So so needless to say, I'm not going all the way up to this dumpster. I don't care what
Uh-huh.
falls at this point. I'm
Yeah,
getting close enough to where I can throw all these
yeah.
bags of
Yeah,
trash.
because
And
Ricky the raccoon could have had his family in there too.
could have had him. Could have had
Yeah.
him, right?
Yeah,
So then I
yeah.
turn around and I see these glowing eyes behind me.
Mm.
I'm like, what in the world? I can't. I'm like, we're never using this event center again. I'm done
Oh, hell no!
with it. I'm
Hey,
over it.
the only
But
reason Ricky is hanging out there is
mhm,
because he knows food is there.
yeah. Oh yeah. And there
Yeah,
was
that's
plenty
it.
of it. There
Yeah,
was plenty
yeah.
of it.
So Ricky
Man.
was ready for you to get up out of there.
Oh man.
He was like,
What
"Get your
was
big
he?
tail up out of here."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Him and the whole family was sitting in the woods waiting for me to move because they were
Yeah,
coming to get me.
that's it. Ricky was the
Uh,
scout, buddy. He was the scout. He was out there scouting it out.
and I'm
Hey,
like,
come on.
and it's nothing but woods back there. So who
Oh
knows
yeah,
what else was back
yeah.
there waiting?
Well, I always look at it like this:
Yeah.
a raccoon is not a top predator,
No.
so there is a top predator that
Hmm.
even hunts him out
Hmm.
there. That's how I
Hmm.
always look at it.
Hmm.
I have to pay attention. What's the top predator in the area?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
it I was not gonna be the prey and I was gonna get going. So I'm
It had to
I'm
have been a
over it.
small bear. It had to have been a
I
small
am
bear to tackle you.
I am
But
so over living in the South, man. It's not even fun. I am over it, man.
my me and Mrs. Les are having these same conversations
Mhm.
about being in a rural area,
Mhm.
right? Because she is completely over stink bugs, snakes,
Yes. Yeah.
caterpillars,
Mhm.
flies.
Oh
I
my
tell you,
gosh.
flies is like your cousins in the neighborhood. You fire
Yeah.
up the grill, and
Mhm.
they
It's a
come.
wrap.
I mean, they call
They do.
everybody over to the party. I can't
Grow
take it.
you some basil.
Some
That's m
basil.
that's
Keep
that's
the
my
flies
that's
away.
my gardening tip. Grow some
Okay.
basil. I got excess of it, and, like,
Mhm.
if you water it every other day and take care of it, yeah, it's gonna keep coming back every year. Grow
Yeah.
basil, it'll take care of it.
I should just
That's my
plant
tip
I
for
should
you.
plant
Tip
out in the
Man Space Nation, you have been educated today.
yeah. So, it's just the smell of basil
Yeah.
that keeps them away?
Mhm.
Oh, well, I'm gonna plant that out in the woods, cuz.
Plan it.
I'm
Plan it.
gonna plant it around the property.
Plan it.
Okay,
It
yeah.
works. It
I
works.
need
I have a
some
bunch of it out there.
well, since you're Mr. Urban Pesticide, what gets rid of, spiders? I got spiders out here, bro, that they
Cinnamon.
that's
Cinnamon.
it. Cinnamon sticks.
Cinnamon and mint. They don't like mint either, but sprinkle you some cinnamon around or get some cinnamon
Yeah?
sticks. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And
'cause
mint works. Yeah.
'cause these fools, man, they off the chain out here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was outside watering the grass this morning.
Mhm.
The tree is 30 feet away from the bushes.
Mhm.
I walked through a spider web.
Oh,
So
it's a wrap for me.
what did you do, bro? Get down on the ground and then come across and then climb
Yeah.
up the tree and pull your spider
Oh yeah.
web up?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I can't function. I walk through a
Oh,
spider web. I don't care if I am 6'5". I
yeah.
walk through a spider web. It's a wrap. I will be late for work. I've already told my boss already has that condition. No, it's noted. All I got to do
Yeah.
is touch spider web, and he knows I'm
Yeah.
not in for the next
Change
2 hours.
clothes,
I'm,
shower,
I'm
everything.
going. I'm going to take a shower, and it's a wrap. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
Oh,
I sat there the other day, me and my wife was going out, and I walked through one going to the car, and I'm like, "Ugh,"
oh,
and I caught it, like, it hit my face, and I
oh
caught it and
no.
threw it away,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then we got to where we're going because we were in a rush. We got to where we're going, got out the car, hit another one. I'm like, okay, you need to hurry
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
because like at this point now my arm is itching. I'm just like I can feel stuff crawling on me. I'm like, all I can think of is I need to go home. I need to take a shower. I'm like, you need to go
Oh,
do what you got to do.
right.
I don't
Yeah.
care. It's
'Cause this is a wrap.
it's a wrap. It's over. I can't function. I can't function. If there was a spider web in this room right now, you'd be doing the show by yourself.
I already know. You ain't got to tell me.
It's a
I'm not
wrap.
a fan. It's only two things that I don't like. As one is an insect, and that's a spider, and the
Mhm.
second is a snake.
Yes.
Those are my two. I could
Yeah.
deal with anything else. I tell my wife
Mhm.
all the time, I'll fight a bear, but you throw a snake on me, I might pass out. I will turn inside out. You know what I
My
mean?
wife can't even take them on TV, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh, she got it worse than I do.
Like there's a Critter Ritter commercial that runs during the local news, and it
Yeah.
just pops up. Change the channel. I'll hear it from the next room. Change the channel.
Well, she got it worse than me, but I promise you, those are the two things that I'm not a fan of, man. I could deal with anything else, but those
Well,
two, mm,
but you know what, man? We got a special guest, and we're gonna find out if
yeah,
she has some of these same fears, because
absolutely.
this is going to be a really, really interesting topic that we're going to talk
Mm,
about today. I want to introduce a special guest. Her name is Dr. Jeanne Michele. She is an innovative force in the world of personal development, blending the roles of a teacher, a modern day philosopher, and a change agent. Her unique
mm,
approach departs from the traditional counseling by guiding individuals, couples, and leaders to identify their deepest passions and desires, and then crafting a clear roadmap to turn those aspirations into reality. That's good right there. I like that.
yeah, I like that too.
With over 2 decades of research and practical experience, Dr. Michelle has become a trusted mentor for those navigating complex relational challenges, including infidelity, which we're going to talk about today, life crises, which we might have to bring her back through to talk about, and
Mm,
everyday struggles that come with seeking and sustaining love. Her dynamic coaching style attracts individuals and couples who have felt disillusioned by previous experiences in the coaching and counseling field.
yeah,
She holds
yeah.
a PhD in psychology from Pacifica Graduate Institute and a master's degree in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica.
Mm,
Dr. Michelle launched, as of last week, her debut book, The Infidelity Cure: How to Rebuild Your Life and Relationship After Your Affair, a guidebook for men and the women who love them. This
mm,
book exemplifies her dedication to helping individuals and couples overcome life's toughest challenges and transforming their relationships and lives in the process. Manspace Nation, I want you to please welcome Dr. Jeanne Michele.
hey,
To the show. Welcome to the show.
welcome, welcome.
Hi, Russ. Hi, Les. I got to tell you, maybe I'd rather talk about UFOs, ditties, dumpsters, little arachnids. Oh my God, you guys are so darn funny. I'm not afraid of spiders, though. I'm the kind that'll capture the little spider and take it outside. I don't hold it in my hands. I put it in a little cup. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
no.
no,
Mm-mm.
no.
It's
I
too
got chill
close.
bumps. I got chill bumps right now. No,
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 no, no. Mm-mm.
I didn't say anything
No,
about
that,
snakes. Okay, I'm not a
that
big
no,
right.
snake fan, but spiders, it.
no. It's a wrap. I will have to sell the house. I
Burning.
yes, it's over.
But
Yeah.
now I know basils and mint and cinnamon, all these
Yes.
See,
natural
there
that
you
we.
Mhm.
go.
That's
I
it.
told you that guy right there is a
I
constant professional. He
I
is
am
Mr. Green
always
Thumbs.
gardening. I've been gardening for probably about 7 8 years, so I grow a lot of different vegetables and just kind of stumbled across the basil one day, and I was like, what else can I do with this? Because I had so much of it, and then I
Mhm.
started uh, reading about it keeping away flies. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll keep it then. And
I could
That's
barely
cool. Do
grow
you cook
grass
too?
outside.
I'm sorry, Les. What? I started talking
No,
all
I
over.
just said so fine. I just said I could barely grow grass outside. So
What kind of grass? Or just kidding.
any kind. We're not going to talk about
Okay, never mind. I don't
the
know
other
what's
yeah,
topic.
going on in your state,
yeah.
but I'm in
So,
California, so
and yeah, that's right. She's in California, so
Oh well, yeah.
yeah, we'll talk
We
about that
we
off air.
we've been there. We've been there.
Russ, do you cook too?
Yes, we actually both of us enjoy cooking. So
Yes.
You
we
and
like to
Les?
talk about food.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I didn't know if you meant you
we
and your
both are
wife or
cookers.
you and Les.
No, yeah, both of us. Well, all four
Well,
of us. His
all of
wife,
us.
my,
Yeah.
All
my
right.
wife.
All right.
Yeah, we do dabble in the kitchen. So
Yeah.
yeah,
A little
yeah,
hocus pocus, you know.
Remember
yeah.
in the Carolinas, I'm
That's
assuming I get
right.
a dinner invite.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh
Come on
yeah.
through. Come
Absolutely.
on through. But since you kind of brought it up, I'm just gonna go ahead and just jump into this question real quick.
All right.
Food alert. Food alert. The Mindspace podcast is talking about food again. Food alert. Food alert.
So, Dr. Jeannie,
Yes, sir.
have you ever tried a fluffernutter?
Is this a PG or an
for,
R-rated
for, for,
conversation?
for, for
It's
the
PG.
podcast
It's
for the
PG.
podcast audience, the look on her face is priceless right now.
I mean, seriously. Oh, I got tears in my eyes. Oh,
I don't
okay.
believe I have, Russ.
Okay, a fluffernutter. Les, you want to explain this because, or he's
Come
too
on,
busy
Les.
laughing. He's too busy laughing. But what it
Oh
is,
my
it's
God.
actually a sandwich made with marshmallow fluff. And you have to get the good marshmallow fluff, not the jet puff that you see in the store. That's watery. But you get actual marshmallow fluff and chunky peanut butter,
Oh,
and you
Okay.
make a sandwich out of it. And it's actually it's a delicious treat. But I like to ask guests, especially with different parts of the country, because I want to see who knows about it and who doesn't know about this. Because when I first introduced it to Les, and he was like, "What?" You know, I have no clue what you're talking about. I've never heard of it. I told him to ask his wife. She's like, what the, there was
yeah.
all types of compound words that came behind that. So she's never heard of it. And so I always like to ask guests to see what they have. And when I explained it to Les, his curiosity got piqued. And so he was trying it in all types of ways with brioche bread and
Ooh,
grilling it and just, oh yeah, he's very bougie. So he tried it in all types of ways and got
I
hooked on
did.
it.
I did. I did. I did.
He
And that
went
was a
through
problem.
several loaves of bread just going
That was
through
a
trying
problem.
this.
Well, I was
Yeah.
trying it in a multitude of different ways, right?
well, I
Just
promise. Go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, I was just saying. I tried it with regular bread. I tried it with brioche that's not toasted, buttered toasted. You know, inside out. I tried it a few different ways: air fried, deep fried. I wanted to make sure I was giving it the proper chance, and no, I it was very bad for me
Oh, do you
because
have a favorite way of eating it?
yes, the buttered brioche bread grilled on both sides, just a little bit of heat, creamy up the peanut butter, melts the marshmallow puff.
Mm.
It's pretty good. You
All right,
can't
I
use any
promise I'll
old
try
butter.
it.
Can't
Right.
use any old butter. You got to use some good
Okay, the
old
good
salted
stuff.
butter. That's
You gotta
right.
use the good stuff.
That's
Who
it.
uses unsalted butter anyway? I don't know.
Well, you
Yeah,
got those. You got those people.
you got those people. But they went even further with it and they made a fluffy Coke. Have you
Yes, they
seen this
did.
floating around on social media?
A fluffy Coke?
A
Yep.
fluffy Coke, yes.
With
No.
it's like marshmallow coke.
Yeah. So you take the marshmallow fluff and you line the inside of a glass. Then you
Hmm.
put
Ooh.
ice in there with it and you pour a Coke, either regular Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, but you pour that in there and then you mix it up and you drink it. And it tastes just like it tastes like ice cream.
It's
Ice cream.
correct. The ice cream float.
Float. Yeah, an ice cream float. It just tastes that way. It's really good.
Yeah, we talk about all the bad foods here.
I I see
That's what we
stuff,
like.
I try stuff, and I bring it to the Man Space Nation.
Well, I'd
Yep.
like to know how you even got started, Russ, on this delicacy.
So The
First of all,
is
I got to interrupt. First of all, I want to say this, and everybody in the Man Space Nation knows this, is that Russ has to connect on every type of treat. He finds everything when he's not looking. And he's the first one to bring it to my attention because I don't pay attention, right? He's like, have you had these? What about this? Look at this. Look what I got. I tasted this. He is a connoisseur of sweets.
if I
That's what I'm going to
see
say.
it, if I see it, I want to bring it to the Man Space Nation because I'm like, hey, let's get the reaction, and I share it with my friend Les here.
Connoisseur.
But
Well,
I've
I
been
think
doing
what's awesome about you, Les, is that you are willing to try these delights.
Some of them, except for cinnamon, what is that we don't like? Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice.
This is not your time of year then. Pumpkin spice is on a high right now.
I'm all the way at the bottom. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So are you a pumpkin spice fan, Dr. Jeanne?
I'll take it in moderation. I'm not like, woohoo, it's pumpkin spice time. But what about
cool.
you?
You can stay.
No, neither one of us like it. Neither one of us like it. But I just found out. Les knew this already. I just found this out a few weeks ago that there's no pumpkin in pumpkin spice.
No, it's just the spices.
Okay. Need I ask what's in pumpkin spice then?
It's like cinnamon
and allspice and
nutmeg, stuff like that. Yeah, nutmeg, exactly. It's just the spices that go into the pumpkin to make it somewhat delicious to people.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought it was because they had so much pumpkin right now because Halloween and all that they're using. They needed to use all that pumpkin, but there's no pumpkin in pumpkin spice.
There's no pumpkin in pumpkin spice.
Basil, fluffernut, pumpkin spice. I'm learning so much already. And that you're afraid of raccoons.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Neither one of us like spiders.
No.
Hey, the show is over. We've had a great show already.
I mean, seriously. I mean, your bio by itself, Dr. Jeanne.
I know. Check out the whole show.
I mean, it was just awesome right away. But I'm going to get started. I'm going to ask you a question here. All right. Yeah.
Another one. I've already had one question.
You're at least going to get 5.
Okay. All right.
You may not have to answer all 5, but you're going to get at least 5.
I'll try.
All right. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Jeanne, Russ mentioned that you have an upcoming book. Congratulations, by the way, on the book.
Thank you.
We haven't talked really about it yet. The Infidelity Cure: How to Rebuild Your Life and Relationship After an Affair. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Here it is. It's probably backwards, but here it is.
It's a guidebook to men and women to men and the women who love them. Mm-hmm. It seems like this guide is to help both men and women. What was your driving force to write such a book? And what do you want your readers to get out of it?
Yeah, thank you for that. Very intelligent question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, hey, we got good writers on the show.
You're so funny. God, you guys are funny. Okay, I'll try to be serious. Right. What happened was I help couples and I help individuals, and you heard that long introduction. There came a point in time several years ago where all these men started knocking on my door. And they were the ones who had an affair. And what they said to me was, I don't know what I was thinking. I want to make things work with my wife. I really messed things up. Can you help? And then the more I got to talk to these men, and we all have a stigma, and there's so much judgment around infidelity. And it's always like, if anybody cheats, I'm gone. Mm-hmm. These men earnestly wanted to make their relationship work. And we really sat down. We looked at what I call the vulnerability factors that were present that kind of caused them to go, not caused them, but were factors in them going sideways instead of talking to their spouses. And I really became interested in the topic. And I think that, I think the way life works is all of a sudden, if you have the same thing kind of coming at you, feels like there's a lesson for you in that. So I learned a lot from these men and their dedication, and the wives that came in and really were heartbroken and, most of the time wanted to work through and get to the other side. So that's what prompted me. And then I just started writing, and I've been working on it for years and years. And finally, it actually became a book.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that happened.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
In that process, though, do you find that it's more couples where the wife is hurt, but she's willing to work it out? The reason they actually get to you, or is it just men that are coming to say, "Listen, I don't know what to do." She won't listen. Where the wife is a little bit more standoffish, and he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
That actually brings the couple to you.
Mm-hmm.
That brings the issue to you.
Thank you. It starts in either way. Sometimes it's the woman who will call, but most of the time it's the guy. And I find that women are experiencing heartbreak when this happens, or the other way too, and they need someone to talk to, and they're really open. At the very beginning, they might be uncertain. I don't know that I could ever forgive him. I don't know that I could ever trust again, but they're willing to come in. And the way I work is I start with seeing each person individually when they're willing to come in, because I say when you come in by yourself, you can throw up all over the office and I help you clean it up. You can put anything out there, because we all need a space to be able to do that. And so I find that most of the time the women want to work on it, but one of the big keys is they don't want to be a fool. They want to know that this isn't going to happen to them again. So we really work on that on both sides.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That is interesting, because I have so many questions that are going through my mind.
I do too. I got a million questions.
Here for their questions.
Because when you look at the couple dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
and you have whatever reason, you have different reasons why affairs happen.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the dynamics, are you seeing more where the person was cheating to get to that relationship? Or I'll say that, let me rephrase it. The man was in a relationship already, and this woman that he ends up becoming in a relationship with was the side woman.
Well, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Okay.
Try again.
Let's try again. Let's try
Okay.
two.
You got
Straight
one more.
through you out. Straight
Right.
through you out.
I know,
You better
right?
get it. You better get it.
I know. So you have a man who is already in a relationship,
Okay, got it.
and he starts another relationship, or he's cheating on his current relationship with this other woman, ends up leaving his current relationship for this other woman, starting out, and has this new relationship.
Okay.
And so now he has this relationship that he's married this woman, and now starts to cheat on this other woman. Are you seeing it where it's coming from a pattern where it's more of, and this is not so much of, trying to get statistics, or just
Mhm.
kind of see, is there a pattern that's been put in place from men who are maybe habitual cheaters in the past, or is it men who have seen this from their parents or their grandparents, where they've seen this, and it's just kind of a historical chain that's hasn't been broken.
Sounds
Okay.
like a Tyler Perry movie to me.
I know, right?
So you don't get a strike three. I get it. And what I will answer to your question is yes. Yes to all of the above. I call them vulnerability factors. If you've been exposed to, infidelity like your mom, I use the word had an affair or infidelity as opposed to cheating. I think we tend to call people cheaters, and I just don't like the label of that, because I think you're demonizing the person.
Mm.
So yes, sometimes we see it's a pattern, okay, because they've done it, and but what I find underneath that pattern typically is there is some type of pain that they have experienced, like
Mm.
some that could happen to them, or sometimes, as you said, that's what was modeled to them either through mom or dad, and
Mm.
that becomes a go-to when they're under a lot of stress. An affair is about sex, and it's not about sex. I
Right.
think it's more about validation and wanting to be seen. I talk about this thing I thought called the three no's. It's wanting to be known and know you matter. Let's see, known, know you matter. And I forgot the third one. No, you. Anyway, there you go. We all want to be seen, and we all want
Mhm.
people that will care about us, And I think that some people have a higher need for that than others. Okay.
Right.
And so,
Right.
yes, sometimes there is a pattern. And I think that's when women have a tough time saying, you know what, this guy comes from a history, or vice versa.
Right.
But sometimes there's a lot of other things that are at play in that. And what we want to get to is the root causes, or what the thinking was and what you were trying to avoid when you went over here. It's almost like an alcoholic. You go for that drink, you go for that second drink, Does
Right.
that make sense? Did I answer your question?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yes. Absolutely you did. Absolutely you did. So before we take a break,
Okay.
we're gonna lighten back up for just a brief minute
Okay.
because we're gonna play a game with you.
Oh no,
Mm.
And
not
that
another one.
yes, we're gonna play a little game. And that game is called Lightning Round.
All right, I'm ready, I think.
All right. So Les is going to ask you some questions. There will be some music playing in the background, but say the first thing that comes to your mind when he asks you these questions. It's going to be 60 seconds. Just respond with the very first thing that comes to your mind, and we will go from there. This is just an opportunity for our audience to get
To
to
get to
know you better.
I don't know if I want them to get to know.
I promise you, they are not hard and they are not
Okay,
boring.
not butternut or butter or whatever, not that one.
No, not that one either. All right, so here we go. Clear
All
your
right, I'm
mind, your body. Clear your body,
All right.
mind, and soul.
All
Here we
right.
go.
You ready? All right.
You ready? Go. What's your go-to comfort food?
cookies.
Ooh. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would that be?
Mary Magdalene.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Cats or dogs?
Say okay.
Uh-oh.
That's
Cat. There you is.
Uh,
What's a skill you've always wanted to learn but never had time for?
ooh, I'd love to be a rock star. I'd love to sing, be on stage.
mm,
Yeah.
You can start after this podcast. Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Mm. What's the last TV show you binge watched?
Two Castle, and there's one new one called Hacks.
Okay. Okay. If you could instantly master any instrument, what would you pick?
Ooh, piano or flute.
mm.
Okay. Last one. Favorite season: summer, winter, fall, or spring?
Spring. It's when everything
Oh,
starts to bloom. Although I like
there
fall
you
too.
go. Okay.
Nice.
All right,
Nice.
that was kind of cool. I'm ready to go again.
Well, since you mentioned the whole rock star, what is your favorite karaoke song to sing?
Oh, and
Mhm.
singer. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
So I have two favorite songs, but I don't know if I could sing them. And they're going to be interesting songs, and they might shock you. Okay.
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 I don't know. The
If you
first
say Sir Mix-a-Lot, I'm gonna run out the room.
The first one is called, I think I mentioned it to you last time, Russ. It's called We Pray. It's a new song that's out now. I really like that song. And the other one is by J. Cole, and it's called Love Yours.
Mm,
Yeah.
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 I
Yeah. I like
love
that.
that song. Because it's
Yeah.
really about loving what you've got and knowing that you've got more or less than all the people around you. And so those are, I don't know that I could sing them though. I don't know if it'd be appropriate for me to sing that song. I really do like it.
All right.
As
Well,
long as
we're
you
gonna
jam
take
into them, it doesn't matter.
There
that's
you go.
right.
There you go.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Man Space podcast.
Okay.
We are back with our special guest, Dr. Jeanne Michele. And I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Um, I think everyone either knows someone or themselves has been through a divorce at this point. We've talked a lot on this show how money was always one of the leading causes for divorce. But I think that I really want to focus the remainder of this conversation on infidelity,
Mhm.
and we've seen a lot of couples, celebrity, non-celebrity couples that have actually survived infidelity.
Mhm.
Now, in your expertise, what are the first steps that couples should try who want to heal? And that's the key word is want.
Mhm.
But when they're trying to heal, uh, discovering infidelity in their marriage, what's one of the first things that they should try? What's the first steps?
Well, first of all, I think they need to be very careful in how they need to talk, okay? And they need to
Mhm.
be careful how they talk and what they talk about. Some people say they want to know everything. I want to know what, when, where, how, and
Yeah.
details. And I really caution people against having too many details because you can't get those things out of your head, okay? You
Hmm.
can't get images out of your head. Infidelity is difficult to work through on your own, okay? I think one of the main things to talk about is, what was going on? What was going on in our world that turned your head and caused you to look over here? Okay. What
Hmm.
was going on that you couldn't come and talk to me? If you're the one that you've been
Right.
betrayed. And if you're the betrayer, a real key is to take responsibility. Okay, it's important to look at the things that were the factors that were vulnerable. Like, you had stuff going on at your job. There's all kinds of reasons. You had a parent, when you start looking into it, that kind of set the stage. You got a bunch of buddies and you
Hmm.
were out late one night and everybody
Right.
is encouraging one another to do something.
Right.
But no matter what, you have to own it, and it's really important to express your remorse and how sorry you are. I'm sorry I betrayed you, and I really want to rebuild trust, and to work on those things that maybe I wasn't paying attention to that contributed to me turning left instead of coming and talking to you. So it's authentic communication is really important.
Awesome.
Hmm.
All right.
I
So go
I
ahead. Go
I,
ahead. Let
I
your
kind of
follow up question.
I, I kind of like that the way you broke that down, because I think a lot of people are focusing on the what instead of the why,
Very.
and we've talked about it in the past. Is like, yeah, you definitely don't want to know all the details, and especially I always say don't ask questions that you are not ready to handle the answers to.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, but most people think they can handle those questions and those that information until it
Yeah.
slaps them. I was one of those guys, so I do understand that. Now I want to ask questions that I know certain things that I can't handle, so I'm not going to ask.
But I
You
would
know,
say, Les, it takes a level of maturity to get to the point you're at.
Yeah.
because at first it's like, I want to know everything. And you're not really thinking, you're responding, you're reacting. And I say there's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is just a knee jerk. You just say it without thinking about it. Responding is to really take a moment and think, like you just said, about, do I really want to know this? Or ask yourself the question, what would I get from knowing that information? How would it help me?
Mm,
And you need to
right.
slow down. And
And
it's
That's good.
sometimes that information, just that little bit of information, forget, you will not hear anything else
right.
but that information, and it will tank the whole thing,
Mhm.
because that's all you can hear and all you think about, and that's what you become consumed with. Just don't ask the questions you can't handle. And
Absolutely.
men, 90% of the time, can't handle any of the questions.
Yeah, I believe that
Ask.
men are way more fragile
I
than
do
women.
too. It's our egos,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
You know what?
You
I do too. I think we've got this misnomer about men. Men think with
Mm,
certain parts of their anatomy. And,
right.
it's all about sex. And I will tell you, as I said before, it's not my experience. I'm talking about good men who have gone sideways. And some people say, oh, how can they be good men if they cheat? That's so limited minded
Mm,
thinking,
Yeah, yeah,
because
because
people get caught
there's
up.
1,000 different reasons.
There's 1,000 different reasons. But it's
Yeah,
important, if you are the person who have betrayed, that you are able to take a look at to take a deeper cut at what's going on inside of you. You can't just say, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again, please forgive me, and that's it. Because when people don't do the work, the likelihood of it potentially happening again is
it
much
will.
stronger,
yeah,
much
Yeah,
stronger.
yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I cut you off, Russ. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm good.
So for a lot of us men, we have that mindset of, you know, we don't talk about it anymore. It didn't happen, you know, and we can just move on, because
Mhm,
we won't talk about it. We'll just bing, out of sight, out of mind. It's
mhm,
gone. How
mhm.
important is transparency during the recovery phase or process?
That's a great question. So, the tough part is, when I have a couple come in and sit in front of me, it's very typical. You know what? It's over. I don't even want to think about it anymore. Let's put it behind us and move on.
Hmm.
And what I say is, not so fast. It doesn't happen that quickly. Unfortunately, there are some things that you do need to talk about and work through so that she can forgive, so that there's enough information that you both can put it behind you. I hear the tendency to avoid. No one wants to sit down and talk with a third person, and it's kind of like I'm a priest in a confessional, or tell me your sins, young man or young woman. No one wants to do that, but it's a critical part of healing. And it's
Yeah.
healing for the one who betrayed too, because once we work through things and they develop more of a compassion and they start rebuilding the trust, what I find, you guys, is that the relationship can even become stronger, because a lot of times when some type of infidelity occurs, there are things, life's gone on autopilot. There are things you're not talking about. You're finding you're getting more angry over the little things. And the thing about infidelity is, it's like it comes right into your face, and there are things that you need to talk about in order to heal. Okay. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense? Or is that like, it
Yeah,
sounds
it makes, yeah.
frustrating? Or,
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I, being a person that's gone through it before,
oh,
I
okay.
believe that you need to. There are a lot of other factors that you have to deal with. You can't just let that go. You
Mhm.
can't say I'm sorry and just keep moving.
Mhm.
This for the other person, it's a lot more work. It
Mhm.
takes trust, and it takes some rebuilding, and stuff like that. So it's a lot more to it.
Yeah, and both
Yeah.
people have to be willing to work on it. While one is the one
Yeah.
who stepped out and betrayed, it takes both of you. And what I find too is there are things that both people weren't talking about. There are boundaries that people were not setting. So as you dive in a little deeper, there's an opportunity for both people to become more in touch with themselves as well as their relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I watched several of your videos online, and one that stuck out to me is the healing power of courageous conversations. In recovering from infidelity, people kind of building on what Les was talking about, people tend to walk on eggshells,
Mm-hmm.
but there still needs to be some deep, meaningful conversations at times.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're walking on eggshells, you don't really know how to get into those conversations, or you don't want to create an environment where it's going to lead to arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And you need a safe space. So how can people create a safe space for having those difficult conversations?
You know what? I love that. That is a great question because I think they're very important conversations. There are John and Julie Gottman are famous relationship therapists, and they talk about the difference between a harsh startup and a soft startup. How you begin a conversation, and in fact, what you're thinking about in your head before you start a conversation is really important. It's important that both people are in a space to listen. So when you're in the middle of an argument or when you're mad as heck at somebody, that is not the time to engage in a conversation like that. The best way to do it is to say, you know what, we really need to sit down and I have something I want to talk to you about, or I think there's something important for us to discuss. Let's set up a time. And it's not a time when you're hungry. It's not a time when you're tired, but to set up a time is really helpful. And then it helps clear the space for both people to be present because they both agree on that. And then the first person talks about and talks about what's going on with them. There's really something I'd like to sit down and talk about, or I've got this thing going on inside of me, and you try to be as calm as possible. And they make an agreement in advance, and this is kind of like talking and listening 101, but that one person speaks and the other person listens. And I think the agreements you make in advance are really important because it's easy to let things flare. And if things start to flare in the moment, you also have an agreement that either one of you can say, pause, take a break, take a walk if you need to. I need a walk. There's not a lot of language when you start to flare. So to decide in advance, then also agree that if someone takes a pause, that they will come back to the conversation. Because sometimes there's the fear that if you pause it, one person pauses it, they won't come back. And what I often find in relationships as well is there's typically one person who tends less, like you said, to be a little bit more avoidant. And sometimes there's another person that wants to talk until it's done. And that is a tough combination, because neither one is satisfied if it doesn't go their way. So that's why to make agreements in advance that if we pause the conversation, we're going to come back to it when we're calm, and some people need to sleep on it. And for the one that wants to solve it right then, that can be
sleeping is not good. No.
You're not one that would want to sleep on it until
I would sleep on it. My wife is the one that's like, she'll be standing up the next morning. You slept. Okay, let's have the finish.
Let's go. Wake up and let's go.
That's her, but we have a thing is we did a show a while back, a couple of years ago about fair fighting rules. But in infidelity, it seems like the rules have changed. I've been there in a previous situation, and it's no holds barred, no gloves. Unfortunately, what are some techniques for our listeners that they could use for their partners to make sure that they're both being heard and understood?
Well, I think it's part of it is that you each need to take care of your own discontent as best you can on your own too. So it can be journaling. It can be I'm so damn pissed off. I know it's PG, so hopefully that's okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, you're good? Okay. I need to take a run or I need to go work out. Anger is an energy that needs to be released. Okay, so part of it is first taking care as best you can. And again, I'm saying in an ideal world, we know that sometimes you're just angry and you go. But I think the agreements, as I said before, that you make in advance, let's really try to be conscious on how we talk about this. Okay.
Right.
Journal, do whatever you can to get the anger out and come into it more calm. But writing stuff out, even when you just write and you cuss as you're writing and you just kind of get it out, or you go run or you work out, those are tools. Another thing to do if you're really revved up is to breathe. Really doing deep belly breaths, because when you're in reactive mode, it's that part of your brain that just gets triggered. The amygdala, it's in the middle of your brain, and you cut off the part of your brain that thinks. It's the frontal lobes are the ones that can reason, because you want to come back to these conversations when you can be more reasonable. Okay, so those are some ideas. The breathing is really important. And I think also having someone you can talk to. You have to choose well. So either it's a professional. Infidelity is damn hard to resolve on your own. It's really hard because you're both going to be triggered. Okay. So also be careful who you share with, because if you want to work on it, infidelity spreads like wildfire. You tell this person, it's like playing telephone. Please don't tell anyone. It's got to be your ride and die friend. The friend, I say that if you said I just killed someone, they'd say, let me help you bury the body. It's that friend. Yeah. It's not the, and don't share with too many people. So did that help? That
I think that did, because I think one of the things that a lot of people deal with from both sides is that it's the embarrassment factor that comes along with it. Yes. Because you once people know, and then whether you work it out or you don't work it out, now you deal with these people that know what happened, and it's
all in your business.
Your whole relationship, even with these other people, is never going to be
change.
Yep. Right. There's a lot of shame on both sides. If you're the betrayer, there's shame in what you did, especially when it comes to light. You think you're having this secret thing that you can keep secret. I'll tell you, most things don't stay secret, And then there's the shame. The one who has been betrayed feels ashamed because they're like, what did I do wrong? Is this my fault? There's all kinds of questions you ask yourself. And so it does evoke a lot of shame, Russ. I would 100% agree with that. And you have to be able to, again, once a couple can start to talk, it's nice if they can both agree how they handle their wider circle and who they talk to and who they don't talk to. Are there friends that know? Is it somebody that, is in the friend circle that you had the affair with? There's all kinds of different situations in which people may know. If it's someone at work and your work colleagues know, because most of the time when people are having an affair, people around you can figure it out.
Right.
And one other thing I would say, that if your spouse, if you're someone who's having an affair and your spouse or long-term relationship lover starts to ask you about it and really question you, they probably already know or suspect.
Yep.
Women in particular, I find, are really good at figuring things out, looking on the email. And I find when it's in the reverse, I find more men hire private investigators. Because it's like they want to have proof before they sit down and talk about it. Again, it's not 100%, but I find more of it goes that way. Women do their own research typically.
I can see that. I can see that. Unfortunately,
I mean that seems a little bit more. You want that concrete proof, because
you can't go halfway.
Right. You have it in your mind, like, I need this in case this goes south. I need to have all of this proof. I need to have all of this in my bag, because usually if a man goes that far, he's thinking well in advance about the divorce. He's thinking about alimony. He's thinking about child support. He's thinking about losing his home,
house, money.
He's trying to protect all of those things by getting the concrete facts when he goes to court. It won't be just he said, she said. It's okay. Now I have the
I got
facts.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
I find that it's much more difficult for men to move through the forgiveness process when their woman has an affair. And I
I
think
was
part of
going
how
I was
we're
going to
wired
ask that
in
question. Yeah.
society. We're wired that, okay, you know what, guys, it's almost like we don't like it, but we can expect it more of men. But when you're a man, and I think it's a competition thing, when another man is with your woman, it's like, whoa. I mean, men,
Yeah.
I find, can be very vindictive, and they want to do something
Manly.
to make that
What
other
they,
man
what they
hurt.
think is man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up and ask that question, but I stayed away from it. But I know that
Wow.
men have how can I say it? We become emotional,
Yeah.
extremely emotional.
Yeah. And sometimes the emotion that hits first is anger. I mean, you feel
Absolutely.
the
Unfortunately,
sadness, but a lot of times you present with the anger.
with the anger. Yeah.
But underneath
Well,
that's a whole lot of stuff.
yeah.
We are actually running out of time in this episode. There was so much. I
So much to
there's
unpack. There's so
right
much more to
because
unpack here.
I actually want to have you back on the show at some point very soon because going down this last couple of questions, it had me thinking about the whole revenge factor. Because you have a lot of people that go through and feel like, okay, well,
Get back.
you did
Yep.
one, I got to get
I
one.
get one.
Yep,
Right.
even.
Yeah.
And how the mindset of playing into that. So that's something that I want to talk about in the future.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm game. I
I'm
love
laying,
you guys.
yes,
Well,
I'm
thank
laying
you.
the
We love you
groundwork
too. We
Yeah.
to have
appreciate
you
you.
back on. So
Thank
we always been extended out to people, and then we're like, you will get around to you. But no, we really wanted to have you back on because there's a lot more that we want to talk about. But before we let you go, let people know how they can follow you, find you, get more information about your book, which is also going to be on our website as well. We're going to have a link out there on the manspacepodcast.com to
Thank
get the book. But you want to go ahead and share your information.
Sure. The book is the infidelitycure.com or infcure.com. My website, I created Dr. J Love, which is drjlove.com, because drjeanniemichele.com is really long and I spell my name kind of funky. So drjlove.com. And I'm on Instagram, and I can send you all of that, and Facebook, and all of those things, and
Yes,
LinkedIn, and
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. We
Awesome.
definitely want
Awesome.
all that because we want the people to follow you. We want them to buy your book because it is such a grateful tool. And we want to thank you again for being a part of the show. This
Yes,
is just going to
absolutely.
be the first of many visits
I love it.
because we have enjoyed this conversation. Now
Yeah.
we got to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of the Man Space Podcast.
Bang, bang.
As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. You see, the word of the day is breakthrough. No matter how big or small, it all starts with a single step forward. The path to a breakthrough is not always straightforward. The path is filled with curves and turns and steep hills to overcome. You see, that's when uncertainty sets in. It's in those moments of uncertainty where growth happens. You see, because we start to push past fear, we push past self-doubt, we push past uncertainty. Each time we refuse to settle, we start building momentum. A breakthrough is not about imperfection or instant results. It's about persistence, resilience, and the belief that what lies on the other side is worth the struggle. Whether you're trying to change a habit, mend a relationship, or chase a dream, the process of breaking through requires faith in your journey and yourself. So Manspace Nation, keep going, keep pushing, because your breakthrough is closer than what you think. And when it comes, you'll realize that it wasn't just about overcoming obstacles. It was about becoming the person who never gave up. That breakthrough, you know what? In talking with Dr. Jeanne, a lot of times with a relationship, it's all about that breakthrough. You got to get,
man.
it's that next step, man. And it may be closer than you think. You know, so many
You-
times we put those walls up and can't get through those walls because, you know, we're hurt and we're trying to conceal that hurt. But to mend that relationship, it's all about that tiny step toward the breakthrough, man.
Yeah. What I had to learn was either step forward or step off. Step up or step off. Because you're going to do nothing but hurt more if you continue in the ways that you've been doing. So you have to be man enough or woman enough to say, this is not what I want, and really, truly mean it and make a step off. Or if this is what you truly, truly want, you have to step up and you have to make it what you want. And you have to do the things, the hard work that it takes to first fix and mend the relationship and move it forward.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a real man or woman to admit their wrongs, you know, so admit them and fix them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we probably need to go back into the love languages, the languages of apology.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways that people
different
want
ways.
to.
Absolutely.
We want to go back and re-hit that one.
Yeah.
But speaking of, next week, we're going to kind of go down this path a little bit more because I have an episode where I'm doing a special interview with a divorce attorney, Mr. Charles Jameson, which will air next week. So tune in for that one. And we're going to go into a little bit deeper about the infidelity and what are recourses that can happen, not trying to mend, but just the other side of it.
The other side. Because there is another side. And it's rough.
Absolutely. It's rough. Now, the Chloe Foundation is still up and running. I want to say thank you to everyone who has contributed to the Chloe Foundation. At this point, at last check, we've raised a little bit over $2,000. The information to turn it into a full 501c3 has been submitted, so we're waiting for the approval. Awesome. Chloe, in her most recent condition, she just had a heart catheter installed, and she's still under doctor's care, but her mother is there by her side every single day. So the funds that have been submitted is going to use to help the family stay close so they can be there near Chloe. And we, as I mentioned last week with the foundation, whenever Chloe gets out of the hospital and is able to go home, we want to continue the Chloe Foundation to adopt other families that are in a similar situation. So thank you. And the information is on the website, themanspacepodcast.com, right on the homepage. If you want to contribute to the Chloe Foundation, we thank you and we definitely appreciate you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Also, next week, I will be in Troy, Michigan, just on the other side of Detroit at the Leadership Experience Tour. Guess who MC is for the event? He's there. And I will be doing a couple of interviews. I'm hoping to bring some of the interviews back where we can have that footage on the show as well. And that's all I got. You got
That's it. I just want to say peace and blessings, man, and all the beautiful things that are happening, you know, to us and to you, Russ. You know, we're very blessed, man, and thanks for sharing this space with me.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. And on that note,
we out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Man Space.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Man Space updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at manspacenat1.
Until next time, Man Space Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
of here.
Hazel, fluffernut, pumpkin spice. I mean, I'm learning so much already.